few of you are using a single ply yarn in multiples. So for instance, the Swedish faro yarn or a similar yarn where you need to use 3 ends together. This is actually a Harrisville single that they spin for me, but it's very similar to the Swedish faro yarn in which you'd use 3 together at 8 ends per inch. This is how you would do a splice of something with 3 ends instead of 2. Here's the concept. You're going to leave one of the 3 hanging. You're going to pick up the next warp and go behind it with the next 2. Leave another one hanging and go behind it, the next one with the next one. So there's 1 tail in each space. Then I start my new yarn. And again, the same thing. There's 1 tail in this space. Put 2 of them behind the next one. Leave 1 there and put 1 tail in the last space. So what you're going to get is in this space here, you'll have 2 tails coming out, 2 in the space next to it, and 2 in the space next to that. You could do this with 4, 5, 6, however many ends. If you start getting 6 ends or something, or even maybe 4, you might double them up in the splice. I like to do my splices over 2 warps, just a habit I've developed. I think it makes the splice a little bit stronger. So I'll take these 2 and go under 2 warps, leave 1 hang, and then go under the next 2. And then from the other direction, same thing. Leave 1 here, go under 2 warps, leave 1 here and go under 2 more. So you'll end up with little groups. There's 2 tails coming out here, 2 tails coming out here. The little tails should be coming out in the same holes between 2 raised warps. And then you can change and beat all of that in. And you'll have a nice splice. This is how you're going to do a splice with that cotton sign twine. This is a very difficult material to work with in terms of splicing. So if this is hard, don't worry, you can use a needle to deal with the tails at the end. So here you can see I've brought this tail over and I need to splice this one in. So this material is a 6 ply, but it's 2 plies, 2, 2, 2 plied together in a 6 ply. So we're going to use 3 of those plies to splice. So what happens here is that you unply the warp and the first one goes under this first warp, the second under the second, and the third under the third. Then we take the other piece and untwist it way up here close to your warp. Stick your fingernail in there and pull it apart and see how there's 3. We're going to pull it into 3 pieces. And then as we come back here, one of them stays here, 2 of them go under here. So there's 2 from this side and 1 from this side going under this warp. So we have the same equivalent amount of yarn in there as we did back on this other side where it wasn't spliced. And then you take the last piece and put it under the third one here. So what that ends up looking like is here's 2 raised warps and there's 2 between there. The next 2 raised warps, there's 2 between those. And these 2, there's 2 between them in those gaps.